With the Jedi Purge unfolding as it did, it left the Jedi Order in shambles. The Jedi were no more, and in the middle of all of this was the newly christened Darth Vader. Together with Palpatine, they were determined to cleanse the galaxy of the Jedi once and for all. And in order to do that, they created the Inquisitorius, a band of dark side adepts who would aid Darth Vader in the hunt for the Jedi survivors. Turmoil had engulfed the galaxy during these past few years after Order 66, but in this far away distant planet, it was a beautiful, lovely day for this husband and wife. A baby was born. In fact, it was their first, and the baby was a girl. Overjoyed and happy, the father wanted to hold his child. Sharing in this delight was the wife as well. In what seemed to be a miraculous day for both, turned into a nightmare as a shadowy figure approached the maternity ward. It was the ultimate Jedi hunter, Darth Vader, and we quickly understand that the father is a Jedi survivor, the Jedi Master and former council member Eth Koth. The eyes of Master Eth widened with panic. "Not now," he yelled out. Knowing fully well why Vader was here, he started to plead with him, assuring him that he is not a threat to anyone, and especially the Empire. He is just a priest now, serving in the Church of Ganthic Enlightenment. All he does is bring people together with weddings and serve at funerals. Years ago, they had kicked him off the council, and he had no loyalty to the Jedi. Eth Koth, however, was sensing danger. He gave a signal to his wife, in which Myra immediately ordered the droid to hand her over the baby. More and more, we can hear Eth Koth pleading with Vader, trying to bargain with the Sith Lord that he could help him find other Jedi survivors if he lets them live. With one word, Vader encompassed what was about to happen next: funerals. Left with no other choice, Eth Koth rammed the droid onto Vader, yelled at Myra to run with her baby, reached out with the Force, and grabbed his lightsaber. A scared mother was now running away from this dark, shadowy figure. What came next was a classic battle between an old Jedi Master and a young Sith, both lashing out at each other. In fact, Vader even recognized the fear and anger, even resentment, that Eth Koth harbored inside of him. It was something that Vader wasn't accustomed to, sensing this in a Jedi. But Eth Koth was a Zabrak after all, and he even admitted that it might be the Zabrak in him that is lashing out. In trying his best, the Jedi Master was out of shape. Vader simply pushed him with the Force, and now elite members of the Inquisitorius were after the child. They had gone after the girl with orders directly from Vader, and while Myra tried her best to escape the Inquisitors, in the end it was to no avail. The child crying and screaming for her mother, and the female Inquisitor simply reached with the Force and grabbed the baby. It didn't matter that both the child and the mother were now heartbroken and separated. Already beaten, the Jedi Master still held hope for his family, convincing himself that he will save them. But as the screams of the child approached, the sound was unbearable. Eth Koth turned his head to see his daughter in the possession of the Inquisitors, in the possession of the Empire. Distracted and defeated, Eth Koth was finally killed, impaled by the red blade of Darth Vader. And while the child screamed in agony for being separated from its mother, Vader went as far as to order the child to be quiet. And at that moment, in sheer awe, the baby stopped. The baby stopped crying and looked at Vader with fear. The child was eventually transported to Coruscant, and what is sad about all of this is that we never found out what was the fate of this child, and who knows, perhaps a lot more that we didn't see. Tatooine plays a big role in his upbringing, as Anakin really suffered during his childhood, but he also had his good moments, such as his time with his mother and the time he spent with his friends finding the parts for C-3PO. Building C-3PO C-3PO was one of the highlights of early Anakin's life, getting reunited with C-3PO later in his years, spending time with Padme, and all of this comes together for Vader during this time. Although this comic falls in Legends lore, in canon we see the similar thing happening as well. We've always talked about the hindering of Vader's past. He wants to forget everything as much as possible, but for some reason the past always creeps in. It's a race between the future and the past for Vader, and they always seem to collide in some weird manner. And this one was definitely a shock, to say the least. Darth Vader could not escape C-3PO's rush to remind him of his time with his mother. Those were better times, at least if you consider what is happening with him during these turbulent times. He knows that Luke is coming to Bespin and he is his son. He is thinking of how to convince his newly found son in Luke Skywalker and bring him to his side, bring him to the dark side, and if Luke joins him as a father and son duo team, they could rule the galaxy together and defeat Palpatine once and for all. Something that Vader knows he can't do by himself, but with Luke by his side, not only can they defeat him, but set the galaxy straight as he wanted to do decades ago when he became Sidious's apprentice. That dream unfortunately fell short, and now there was a chance to set things straight. And C-3PO definitely reminded him of his true original goals. He had a wife waiting for him home, and by the end, she was pregnant. Everything was going so magnificently if it was not for the secret marriage that he had with Padme, but the Clone Wars for him was the peak of his life because he had all the power he desired. He felt enough power that quenched his thirst. This is why he remembers that era so fondly. Not only did he have an army, but the head of that army, Captain Rex, was his close and personal friend. Next, he had Ahsoka by his side, his apprentice, and his best friend, his brother Obi-Wan, was together with him till the end. That era could not replace anything he had experienced so far in the loneliness of the Empire. I feel deep inside, as much as he wanted to pretend that the Empire and the Sith were better, simply put, it was not. It was a complete disappointment both for Palpatine and Vader. At least that's my thinking of it. Palpatine was disappointed in Vader, and Vader was disappointed because the promises to him were not met. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you enjoyed, leave a thumbs up down below, subscribe for dailies. Now you have an awesome day, Star Wars fans. I'll see you in the next video, and may the Force be with you until then.